Hey, welcome back. Hope you guys are all doing good. Hope you guys are having a good work week. You're driving to work right now, or I don't know, maybe you're listening to this when you're on your way to the gym. Maybe you're on a lunch break. I don't know. Whatever you're doing. Who knows? Who knows? Oh, man. I had a fiasco this morning in my car. I decided to, drive and go get some coffee like I normally do. And, we got a lot of back roads and dirt roads around here. It's a rural part. It's a weird word. Rural. A rural area out here. But I'm on the road. I get up to a light, and I hate driving behind any truck that has anything like hanging out of the back, anything that could fall and crush my car or hit my car, right? And I get behind this truck, and there's just all this rebar hanging out. Just tons of rebar. Just kind of loose, like not really tied down, just kind of like hanging here, hanging there. And I'm just like, oh, great. It's excellent, right? I look behind me as the light turns green. I'm driving, and all of a sudden, this car approaches me from behind. I'm just looking, and it was the this was like the this is like the oldest possible person you can imagine that can drive. Oh, just some little old lady in one of those new Chevy has like these new like Subaru looking like hatchback style cars. Dude, and this lady is just like so focused on the road with like knuckles. I could see her knuckles in my rearview mirror. Like her little bony hands were 10 and 2 on the wheel. And nobody unless you're old or like a new driver drives like that. And she's got her knuckles there and they're just gripped so tight around the wheel. And she's got those big sunglasses on. And she's got that look on her face. Her nose is scrunched and her mouth is open like she's just directly behind me, just stopping and going, just slowing down, speeding up, swerving. I'm just like, great, dude. I'm just like hoping as traffic goes on, there's no one's gonna have to slam on their brakes up there, and this truck slams on its brakes. I slam on my brakes. The old lady doesn't see it and smashes right into me. Just pushes me into that truck, and the rebar comes flying down and just goes through my windshield and right through my face. Ugh, it's like some Final Destination shit. Oh my god, dude, driving, man, driving is not. I like driving. I like driving a lot. I don't really get too. I don't really hate. I hate traffic, but I don't really hate driving. But man, there are some people on the road that just they suck, man. I saw this girl the other day who was driving and she was in like a newer Mercedes. She was probably in high school. She had to have been, but I was driving next to her and as I'm like looking over, I like look to my right. I keep looking over and she has her phone in her hand, like 3 inches from her face, and she's using her other hand to like an old person when they type on a phone, like she's like got one hand behind the phone, like holding it up in front of her face, and the other hand is like she's just pecking at it with her finger, not even looking where she's going. And I'm just like, fuck. And I looked over, like, I'm not paying attention to the road. And I'm like looking over, looking over, looking over, and she's just staring at her phone, like laughing. And I'm like, dude. And the car that she was in was obviously like her parents' nice, brand new Mercedes, new, fresh plates. And we get up to a light and she goes to turn right, and I'm just like looking, and I end up on now her right side because I'm making a right hand turn, and the entire right side of her car is completely just fucked. Just fuck. It looks like she hit something, and the mirror on the right side is like hanging down, like look like Two Face. Like one side's like normal, the other side's just fucking ravaged. And I'm just like, dude, does she even realize? Does she even know that she hit something? I'm like, did she get in the car this morning with it like that? Or was she so focused on her TikTok that she just fucking sideswiped something and took off? Like, hit someone, took off driving, doesn't even know. They radio it in. They're like, it was a silver Mercedes, a female driver. And the cops are chasing her down. She's just, unbeknownst to her, she didn't even know. She's just driving around. Completely oblivious. She gets home and her dad's just like, what the fuck? I didn't know. Oh man, Driving though, it's a trip, dude. There's so many different drivers out there. It's just, I mean, it's just a risk anytime you get in the car and you got to go drive anywhere. I saw my, oh my god, I saw my, I saw my uncle driving his truck. He has like this old, so my dad has like more than a dozen siblings, and like four of them are normal, and there's actually probably closer to like 15 of them, but the rest of them are just animals, just absolute animals. And my one uncle who lives here in town, he's a trip, man. Like he's doing better now, but I mean, you talk about years of drugs and just undiagnosed this, undiagnosed that, paranoid schizophrenic, all this stuff, dude. This guy, like 10 years ago, we tried to help him out. Like we were like, hey man, like my grandparents had a house that he lived in. He took care of him, and then the other brother who lives there, this fucking guy, he like spends all the equity in the home and essentially almost gets my grandparents like foreclosed on. Doesn't take ownership of it, goes crying to everybody. I don't know what happened. It's like, dude, you spent 400 grand that you couldn't pay back. And he like fucking he kicked my uncle out, and it's a whole mess. And we tried to help him out when he got kicked out, and we were like, we'll get you a motorhome, you could live in it. And he was just like, no, I'm good. Because he'd been like unhoused before, but the unhoused individuals, the homeless people, they always want to like take all of the shit they have with them, and most of it's just garbage. But it's like their belongings. So he was like, if I can't take all this stuff, and I can't do this, I can't do that, it's like, fine, you know what, dude, never mind. So he was just like, I'd rather be on my own. So he essentially becomes homeless and lived down in the river. So we were just like, okay, if that's what you want, and he was just like, yep. So I would see this guy out in public, and he'd be out like walking his dog, and I'd be like, hey, and he's always like real bouncy, like, hey, what's going on, what's going on? And I'm just like, hey, look at your dog. And the dogs that he always had were always super fucking mean. Like I go down to like, can I pet him? And he's like, yeah, he's fine. And I go reach down, the dog like, snaps at me. I'm like, okay, yep, no, never mind. He's like, hey, yeah, I got a bicycle. I'm like, oh, nice. He's like, yeah, but I can't ride it yet because I got to walk the dog and the bicycle at the same time. I don't want to run with the dog with a bike and blah blah. I was like, okay, so a couple weeks go by, I see him out and about, and he's on his bicycle, and I notice there's like no dog, and I'm like, where's your dog? And he goes, oh yeah, I flipped it. I was like, what do you mean you flipped it? He's like, I traded the dog for a dirt bike. And I was just like, you traded a dog for a dirt bike? Like, are you out of your fucking mind? You can't trade a dog for a dirt bike. He goes, no, I found someone who wanted him. And to be honest, he didn't really like me that much anyways. And I was just like, okay. He's like out in front of the store. So I'm like, dude, are you hungry? Like, you want some food? So he's like, yeah. I was like, all right, let's go buy some food. So I take him to the grocery store. I go off and get my own stuff. I was like, you just get what you need. Meet me back here in like 10 minutes. I come back, and the guy's just got like a cart full of like fucking Squirt and Pringles. And I was just like, no, no. No, dude, I'm not buying you a bunch of junk food, dude. You're diabetic. And he's just like, no, no, I think I got over that. I was like, no, you don't get over diabetes, dude. It's not a cold. So it's like, take all that shit back and go get something more sustainable, dude. Go get some nuts or something. So he comes back, he's got some better shit, a couple candy bars. And I was like, I don't give a fuck, whatever. Put your candy bars in there. So, we're out, like, we're leaving the store, and I'm like, dude, so where's your dog? I was like, did you leave it over where you're living? And he's like, oh, no, no, no. I traded for the dirt bike. I was like, oh, so you legitimately traded this dog for a dirt bike? He goes, yeah, straight up, traded for a dirt bike. He goes, but the thing is I got this dirt bike, and I know a guy who wants to trade me a quad for the dirt bike. And I'm like, okay. So, a couple weeks go by. I didn't see him. Next time I see him, I'm like, hey, did you end up getting that quad? He goes, no, no, I got the quad, but guess what? I traded for it straight up. And I'm just like, what did you get now? And he's like, I got 2 jet skis. And I was like, jet skis? Where? He's like, they're down by the river where I live. And I'm like, oh my God. So he's got these 2 jet skis. He's like, the only problem is I don't have a truck to haul them. I was like, how did you get them down there? And he goes, oh, someone dropped them off. I was just like, oh my God. So, I would see him every couple weeks, and he'd always have a new trade for this, trade for that. So finally I see him, I'm like, hey, what's up with those jet skis, man? You still got them? He goes, oh, I got a truck. I found it down the river, and this guy helped me haul it up. we got it running, and now I got the jet skis on it. But guess what? I was like, what? He goes, someone wants to trade me for those, straight up. And I'm like, for what? And he's like, for a motorhome. And I'm like, hey, that's awesome. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you asshole, we wanted to give you a motorhome like 10 years ago to live in rent free. And he's just like, yeah, so, you know, all right. So I'm like, okay, cool. Well, good luck with that. Next time I see him, I'm like, hey, how's the motorhome? He goes, oh, I got the motorhome, but guess what? And I was just like, let me guess, you traded for it. You traded something for it straight up. And he goes, traded it to a friend. And I was like, what did you get? And he's just like, check it out. And he had a fucking dog in his hands. Oh, I was just like, this whole thing started with the dog. You got the dog and then you traded the dog with the bicycle for the dirt bike, and then you got the dirt bike and you traded for the quad, then the quad for the jet skis, and then the jet skis for the fucking truck, and then the truck for the motorhome, and now you got another dog. He goes, it's a rare breed. And I was like, dude, I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is a fucking German Shepherd. I was like, oh my god, dude, you could have gotten one of these at the pound for like $10. Oh my god, dude. But you know what? I gotta give it up to him, man. He every time he's had a dog, other than when he's traded a dog for something, he's always taken good care of the dogs, man. The dogs guys are super fucking mean. Dude, one time he pulled up to my business and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, he rides up in his truck and he's got a flatbed and he's like, hey, are you gonna be here in like an hour? And I was like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna be here all day. He's like, okay, I'll come back in an hour. So I'm like, all right. So I give him a coffee, you know. An hour goes by and he pulls up on a bike, like a bicycle. And in the back of his bicycle, he's got this like the carrier that they take kids around in, like a little covered red, yellow, like little looks like a little tent, has like a little zipper door. And I'm like, what is this? And he goes, check it out. And I'm just like, yeah, it's a little kid carrier. And I'm like looking like, what do you have? And he's like, you ever seen one of these? And I'm just like, what? And he unzips it and it's two fucking like coyote puppies, and they're like growling, and I'm like, what? I'm like, I close it up. I'm like, dude, where the fuck did you find those? And he goes, oh, they were down by the river. And I'm just like, what? And he's like, yeah, they were down by the river. And I'm like, what do you mean they're down by the river? And he goes, well, they were kind of sniffing around my tent at night, so I went and grabbed them. And I was like, no, are you fucking kidding me? He goes, well, yeah, I mean, the only thing is that at night now I can hear like big coyotes like sniffing around. I think it's their kids, and I think they want them back. And I'm like, yeah, no shit, they want them back. They're wild animals, dude. It's just like, dude, but they keep an eye on my shit when I'm gone, so I just leave them zipped up in my. I'm just like, oh my god, dude, there's no way. And I'm like, dude, get these things out of here, dude. I don't want someone to pull up and see you with two fucking coyote puppies. And he's just like, all right, sorry. And then he takes off, and I'm just like, oh my fucking god, dude. I'm like, how do you, like the level in which like the operations down there in the river with the homeless dude, it blows my mind. There's like a whole system, like a whole like city down there of like rules and regulations and stuff that he would tell me about. I'm just like, dude, this is insane, man. I don't even want to. I don't even want to know. Oh my god, he's doing better now though. He actually found a place to live, which is really good because for a while, man, he was down there, and I was just worried, like, oh my god, he's trapping coyotes. And then one time he decided he was going to go in and reach in a hole and pull a bobcat, and he somehow managed to get a bobcat. And I was just like, no, dude. I draw the line. You got two coyotes and a bobcat. He's like, no, no, no. He's real nice. And he's like, he'd tell me, he's like, at night they got a real pretty howl on them. I'm like, dude, it's like you're a fucking madman, dude. Oh my god, he's a real person, you guys. He's not real. I did not make any of this up. You can talk to people that know him. Oh, he reminds me of a guy that I used to work at Starbucks, and there was a gentleman that used to come in there, and he also another unhoused homeless individual, schizophrenia, all those things. And if you've never been around somebody with schizophrenia and stuff like that, they're a little unpredictable. you know, they don't operate like how people who are more normal with their tempers and hormones and all that stuff, you know. But this poor guy, man, he'd pull up and he'd be there at night, and I always go out there and give him a cup of coffee and just make sure he was cool. He had like a little Chihuahua dog, and he used to walk on the back roads to the same like river area, and I always felt bad. I was like, dude, I don't want you walking down there by yourself. You're gonna get hit by a car. You're gonna get stuck out there. You get hurt. So I used to offer him a ride. I used to have this old like '91 Honda, Accord, just an old beat up car. And he'd load his stuff up in the back. He'd put his dog in his lap, and I'd give him a ride. I'd be like, hey man, like where you going? Like the first time I give him a ride, he's like, oh, just take me to the river. And there's a road that you can take that goes down, and then basically there's a drop off, and I would just drop him off at this one road, and he would walk down there into the shrubbery and just go down and do whatever. But dude, he used to get a ride from me, and I'd give him a ride, and he'd hold his dog in his lap. His little dog's name was like Aria. He's like, can you believe she used to be a cat? And I was like, nope. Once he started saying shit like that, I started to really rethink. I'm like, do I really want to give you a ride anymore? And then he would have like these random, like, angry outbursts in the car. And I was just like, you know what, dude? I just told him, I was like, if this is what's going on, I can't give you rides anymore. And, it sucks because over time you see these people, and they're not bad people. They just have, rough times on them. And they're in rough times. And so you have to, like, kind of just accept that they're just going to get worse and worse and worse. And you have to distance yourself because, yeah, they might, you know, attack you or whatever. So, yeah, I always felt bad for that guy. But man, watching him just trail off into the tall grass, I was just like, I was talking to my friends the other night, and we were we were talking about the first couple episodes where I was talking about all the tweakers in the parking lot and how they were going to that one trailer. And I was like, dude, just being around the homeless people at night, man, it's like a fucking real life version of Pokemon Go. Oh, dude, it's just like playing the old Pokemon video games, man. You walk from town to town, you're just walking through, and you're on the pathway, you're safe. But the second you get in the tall grass, and you're just walking around, all of a sudden all of a sudden the screen starts blinking, the music comes on, and then the shadow comes, and all of a sudden it reveals which Pokemon it is, and has a little growl like me. That's like That's what it's like running into homeless people at night, man. They appear in the light. You don't even know what it is until it gets up to you. You're like, whoa. You gotta like stand back. You gotta get like stanced up, like ready for just in case they attack. They're just fucking- they got different types. You stumble upon one on the ground, just laying there. You're like, that's a ground type. If one kind of gets aggressive and starts running at you, you're like, okay, that's a fighting type. I gotta, I gotta know what to do in this situation. Oh, they got their fire types. Those are the ones that commit arson, light things on fire. Those are the ones that start fires out and constantly are getting in trouble for like, arson and things like that. Your water types are the ones that are down by the river. Oh my god. How you got your electric types too, dude? You got the people that go in and steal copper wire. They can get anything to run. They know how to like steal power from buildings and charge their phone and run an air conditioning unit. Oh my god! You get the psychic types that just walk around talking to themselves, and they look at you from across the parking lot, and you feel like you feel like they know what you're thinking, and you're kind of like you can't avoid eye contact. The new moves like confusion. Just oh my god! Oh dude, Pokemon Go in real life, man, it's insane. I'm pretty convinced that the trailer that I stumbled upon that was everyone was getting drugs from. I'm almost positive that was like a trainer gym. It was like a it was like a rock and ground type trainer gym. Everyone's just posted up outside the church, just laying there. I'm like, all right. Oh my god, dude. Oh, 20 minutes. Damn. It's flying by. It's just flying on by. Oh my god, dude. When I worked at Starbucks, I had so many characters that used to come through there, dude. So many people, man. When you work in service in general, you encounter people who you can tell stories about them forever. Like, it wasn't just like homeless people and people that would hang out outside. Like, dude, we had this guy who I knew this guy for like a really long time. So I was more like used to his antics and like kind of like how he acted. Dude, this guy used to walk around and he would like talk in a British accent. Like he would just walk in, you'd be like, "Hey, what's up, man?" He's like, "Oh, a beautiful day, people," and you're just like, "Oh my god!" It was like always like this really theatrical, just production. You kind of had to play along because you couldn't shake him from it. Like you couldn't be like, "All right, dude, like stop." He's like, "Oh, who are you talking to?" It was like Tobias from Arrested Development, man. He would just like stay in character, and you're just like, "Dude, like enough is enough, dude." It's just like, oh, he would come in there and he'd wear like suits with like coattails and like bring a cane in and just like tap his cane as he walked in the door and like he was like they do that little scoot like whoop. It's just like he looked like the Monopoly man. But dude, this guy would come in there and everyone was just annoyed with him. But I knew how to handle him because I knew him for so long. He was like a little bit older than me, but I just thought like you just gotta play into it, man. You can't fight with him. Don't be mad. Don't be mean to him. Just let him do his thing, dude. He's just chilling. Oh my god, he would come in there and he would meet up with this guy. And this homeless guy that I used to give rides to, like he would be outside too. And they'd go sit out in the back patio or the front patio. But dude, he would come in with this guy who had the worst stuttering problem, and I felt so bad for this guy because he would walk in and he'd be like, "Hey," and I won't say anyone's names on here because I don't want anyone to, But this guy would walk in and I'd be like, "Hey," I'd say his name, and he would just say, "Can I get a?" And he would just for like a good like sometimes he'd be like, "Can I get a like large americano?" But then he would come in sometimes and he was like, "Can I get a?" And he would just you would see his brain like just go into like this. You could see his brain just go into this mode of like having a stutter, dude. It's tough, man. I have friends with stutters, and it's brutal, dude. And you never finish what they're trying to say, even if you know what they're trying to say. Just let them battle through it. And this guy used to come in and do that. We had this lady that was just like she was just this older woman who worked at Starbucks, and she didn't give a fuck, dude. She was just one of those like ladies, just like spit it out. He'd get up to the counter, dude. He'd be mortified. I was just like, "Oh man, you don't gotta do him like that. Just let him do his thing, whatever." Like dude, he would stand up there and he'd be like in like mid stutter, and she would do the whole like hand, like doing like a circle next to her ear, like come on, come on, come on, and then finally she just go, "Just spit it out. What do you want?" And oh my god, dude, he gets so embarrassed. And I was just like, I told her, I'm like, "Hey, you don't, just let him." She's like, "I don't got time for that shit." It's just like, dude. Oh, just have a little more patience. And she'd be like, "Between him and this guy, I don't want to. I'm fucking. Oh, I'm over this shit." And it's just like, oh my god. But they would come in and, dude, the characters that we'd have there. These guys would come in like at night and they would sit outside. And dude, I'll never forget. I'm like, yeah. So when you worked at Starbucks, you had to go outside and at like we used to tie the furniture up because people would steal it. Obviously, we didn't bring it inside because at night they'd have to bring in deliveries, and you couldn't have stuff in the middle of the lobby because they couldn't get by, and blah 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 blah, whatever. So we'd have to go out there and tie the furniture up. But the rule was that you'd have to go and tie the furniture up like pre-closing. But what you could do so you don't kick customers out is you just go and you stack some of it and let them enjoy their coffee or whatever. We saw these guys all the time, so they knew the drill. We knew what to do, but I'm out there and I'm just hearing them like have this heated debate. And I'm just like, dude, like they're just going back and forth, and the guy's got the stutter going, and he's just like the one guy's sitting there, the one with the British accent's talking. He's like, but you have to understand that the character's development is purely. It's not a matter of something something. It's a matter of being present mind. And then the guy's like, well, I think you're wrong because if you look at the plot, and I'm just like, dude, these guys are having like a deep discussion. Like this must be like some historical like crazy shit that they're talking. And they're just going back and forth. And he goes, I don't care. Psychology says that when someone is blah blah, he goes, yes, but I'm not talking about psychology. I'm talking about science. And the guys they're like yelling at each other. And I'm finally looking over there. And I'm like, and finally, The guy with the British accent stands up and he just goes, "If Dumbledore were here right now." I'm like, you guys are talking about Harry Potter? Fucking 30-minute debate screaming at each other outside over Harry Potter, dude. In a British accent and the other guy with a stutter. I was just like, oh, this isn't real. If Dumbledore were here right now, just like, oh my god. Oh, these guys, dude. Man, these guys used to just sit out there and they would just talk about the most random shit. The one guy actually, surprisingly, the guy with the British accent, he with the fake British accent, he actually got a job with Starbucks. And the lady that I was telling you about with the impatient lady that I worked with, she actually there was a second Starbucks in town on the other side of town, and she ended up working over there. And this guy with the fake British accent worked over there, and he was apparently like the worst employee. They was like just like always late, never did his tasks. Like you have task lists you have to get done. You have to clean the restroom. You got to clean your bar area. You got to like do all this stuff and mark it all down. I guess he would just talk the whole time, like walk around like, oh, cheerio. And they were just, I don't know how he even got hired in the first place. They must have been like desperate, but apparently he showed up to work and one of the girls there like spilled to him like, oh, dude, you're getting fired. And he was just like, that's preposterous. I'm such a great employee. And she's like, no, like you're getting let go, dude. Like you didn't show up yesterday. You showed up 20 minutes late the day before. Like you're getting canned. And she was kind of like a really like tough like girl. She was kind of like, yeah, you're getting fired, dude. Fuck, kick rocks. And apparently the next day that he showed up, the district manager was there. The manager was there, and he he showed up. He showed up with a fucking top hat, like a full like coattails, like he was dressed to go to like. Like he was dressed to go to the fucking ballroom at the Titanic, dude. He was fully like top hat, monocle, cane, and he fucking walks in and they were just like, oh no. And he just like walked in, he's like announced to everybody, I know I am here and I choose not to work. And they're like, okay, yeah, dude, you're fired. And I guess he just turned around and he goes, at least I will be fired in style. Oh, just hit the door, like opened the door with his cane and like clicked it on the ground and like walked out. It just, oh my god, dude. Oh my god! And this really happened because the people that worked with him were just like, dude, this was, and this is before like you could record anything on your phone. There was no, this was like in 2009. But oh my god! So then he should just come to the Starbucks that we worked at and just hang out and debate about Harry Potter and all this. But man, I tell you what, between the homeless folks that we used to get through there and him and oh, I said his name. I'm gonna have to edit that out. Between these two guys that used to come in and the homeless people, it was, dude, it was just so many characters, man. That's why I think everybody should work in service at least once in their life. Like if you're a young high school student or you're in college, you have to work a service job at least once. If it's a restaurant or a like a store, a cafe, like anything where you can experience customer service. I swear to God, people are so frustrating, but dude, at the end of the day, the people that you encounter and all the stuff that you all the stuff that you see and hear, like dude, I'm gonna talk about way more stuff on here eventually about just random people and experiences just from working in customer service alone. But man, those two guys, holy shit, dude. God. I can't even I wonder what those guys are up to these days, man. That's insane. But damn, looks like we are pretty much almost out of time. That's 30 minutes. Wow. Thanks for if you stuck around, thanks. If you didn't, I get it. Yeah, I'll be uploading another one of these pretty soon, so be on the lookout. Be sure to check out our Instagram page at nos.show. We'll be I'll be posting when we have new episodes. I've been doing these little clips of kind of like recaps, just to kind of give you like a little segment of what the episode had in it. So if you guys have been checking us out, I appreciate it, and talk to you soon.